Welcome to this episode of the Life Vision Project. Our guest today is a longtime practicing chiropractor. He is also the chair of the Florida Chiropractic Board of Examiners, and a very important role that he's recently has taken on is the chair of the Board of Trustees at Life University. Dr. Kevin Fogarty, welcome.
Good morning, John, for having me.
Thank you so much for agreeing to be with us. You know, before we started recording, I mentioned that one of the topics that we really wanted to cover with you today was the politics of chiropractic, because you've been heavily involved in the politics of chiropractic for a long, long time. And, you know, I want to sort of segue in and also get into the position of, you know, how do chiropractors really get involved in the political process? But my first question to you was, why did you choose to get involved in the political process of our profession?
I think I was told early on that I do make a difference and that everyone makes a difference. And if I don't like something, it's up to me. If it is to be, it's up to me. And I was told if I don't like something, get involved and change it. And I think early on in the profession, there was a lot of unjusts that were going on. In Florida, for instance, there was a failure rate of over 50% of anybody that took the test. And that just didn't seem right to me. And it didn't seem right to a lot of people that we were actually practicing professional birth control in Florida by saying we've got too many chiropractors out there. Instead of taking the mental attitude that we have a lot of patients to serve, a lot of people need chiropractors. So the more chiropractors, the more good chiropractors out there that can serve the profession, the better off we're going to be. So we decided at that time to get involved with the examiners, go through and just making it more of a fair test. Instead of two people sitting in the room asking any question that they could ask of you, it became more of, you know, wow, are we teaching for minimal competency, which is what our state law required, versus this professional birth control that people were attempting to do to our profession.
Well, I love the thought that you shared about, you know, if it is to be, it's up to me, because it's something I learned many years ago from a mentor as well. And if we don't like what's going on, then we need to get involved. And I know that so often, you know, you and I both, having been in chiropractic for many years, we hear it from our colleagues, you know, I'm not happy with this, I'm not happy with that, but they're unwilling to get involved, or they just don't know how they can start getting involved. And I think the next question might be exactly that. If a chiropractor wants to get involved politically, maybe you can share your history a little bit, but if a chiropractor wants to get involved politically, where can they start?
I think it's summed up in 3 words. Just show up. That's all they got to do, is just show up. A mentor of mine said that your very presence in the room changes the conversation of that room. It changes the tone, it changes the energy, it changes everything. If you just show up to your meetings, whether it be a state, local society, or, you know, just a local group of chiropractors getting together and all they want to do is just complain about what's going on, or going ahead and on a national level, or going to seminars like Life Vision, just show up and be around like-minded people that want to do the same thing, that want to change the world. That's the beauty of it. People think that they've got to go ahead and spend countless hours doing this or that. Just show up. Then you can figure out at that time what your passion is, and then where you're going to give your time, your talent, or your treasure. And right now, we just want people to show up. And if you show up, you're going to make a difference.
And it sounds so simple, doesn't it? That we just show up. And I know that, you know, chiropractors typically are loners. That's what I've discovered in a lot of ways. That's it relates to our practice, right? Most of us, you know, we go to our practice with our staff, but, you know, we're one chiropractor and we don't commune with each other enough. And I know that you have spent countless hours, days, months communing with the chiropractic profession, something you're very proud of, and the accomplishments you've been able to create because you've showed up. And so share with the audience today, if you would, your life vision, your professional life vision. What does it look like for you? How did you craft it? How did you get to it? What roadblocks did you face? And how did you overcome those roadblocks? I know it's
I
a long
love
question.
chiropractic. Oh, that is a long question. That's all right. But I love chiropractic. I love the profession. I give of my time, talent, and treasure, and I give that not so much because of what I can get back in return, but more importantly, that realizing that there's a law in the universe that the more you give, the more you're going to get. That's the bottom line. So if you give of your time, you're going to find more time. If you give of your talent, your treasure, it's all going to come back to you. You put the 10% on the wheel, you know, it always comes back tenfold. I think my vision for everybody is just to have a better world, to have a better footprint, that when I leave this planet, that I'm leaving it a better place for humanity, a better place for my children and their children. So if I have a child that wants to practice chiropractic, and I've got one that's, you know, chomping at the bit, and she wants to do that, can she practice chiropractic without drugs or surgery? You know, I think this world is a better place without drugs or surgery. And I know we're getting into another, but
okay, go with it.
We've got people in our profession that want to change the very essence of what chiropractic is, saying that, oh, well, this is how you grow chiropractic, or this is how you grow a practice, or this is, and we feel that, and these people feel that you've got to include drugs or surgery or other procedures into their practice because that's what people want. Well, in my life, which is a short life, but I've been in practice 33 years now, I found that people don't want more of the same. They want something different. They want to be able to go to a doctor that's not going to shove more pills, potions, and lotions down their throat. People forget that everything has side effects with medication. I mean, a minimum of 5 different side effects, push or prescribed, under or over the counter. And to go ahead and to have a patient come into the office just to say, oh, we'll take some Tylenol or ibuprofen, or the push with some of these chiropractors of, we've got to give them some Stalaxin or, you know, Farinol or whatever it might be. That's not my purpose. My purpose is to go ahead and to provide an adjustment to a patient and allow better communication between the brain and the tissue so the body can function better, more innately. Because as we know that the body's self-healing, it's self-replicating, it's designed to repair and replace itself if we can remove the obstructions or what we call subluxations in the spine. So my job is to get rid of subluxations. And some of the subluxations we do in our profession is to remove the one upstairs.
And showing up helps that happen, doesn't it?
It does. It does. Because people realize, as you said, they feel like there are loners out there in the profession, but they feel like, hey, there's another one that thinks as crazy as I did. And then there's another one. And if you're hanging around like-minded people, then you're going to be a stronger person philosophically, but also a stronger person as a person, because you're going to know what you're doing is the correct thing.
You know, last week you participated in a small commercial, if you like, as we start promoting the Light Vision event that's going to be held April 21, 22 in 2017. And, you know, one of the lines that we had written about it was, you know, what will happen when 1,000 or more chiropractors come together, and we added to work together. And I'd like you to touch on that particular line because, you know, I've heard you talk about, you know, building a tribe and building the profession. And now we've added this, let's come together, but now let's learn to really work together so that the vision that you've just shared, your professional light vision for chiropractic, can actually be reality for your children and your grandchildren and the great-grandchildren that will come after that.
I think it's the old story about the monkey that was on the island that went ahead and was digging for a sweet potato and went ahead and accidentally dropped it into the water. And he said, wow, as he ate the sweet potato, this doesn't taste bad without all the sand and the gook on it. Well, he started washing his sweet potatoes. Well, all of a sudden, all the monkeys in the tribe on the island started watching him, and they all started doing the same thing. But critical mass says that 1 and 1 is no longer 2. 1 and 1 creates a synergy if you have enough of like-minded people doing the same thing. In this case, here are the monkeys on islands hundreds of miles away. All of a sudden, I had no communication with the monkey that originally did the sweet potato. All of a sudden, they started washing sweet potatoes. And these researchers realized that it is a critical mass that we can go ahead and create with enough like-minded people. If we have people that learn to live together, work together, participate in something that's bigger than themselves, then we can go ahead and make an explosion of our vision a reality around the world.
Because it's really about creating a movement, and isn't it? And really changing the face of healthcare so that as we build a strong network of like-minded chiropractors, that the message then gets taken to the populace and that humanity gets to experience a healthier life because you, I, and this entire group of people decided to make a difference and have our names and our work be counted on.
It is. It is about making a difference. I think everyone on a fundamental level wants to make a difference. And this Life Vision program is the ability to have people come and make a difference with other people by just showing up.
It will be a beautiful thing, and I know we're promoting it as, you know, the signature event for chiropractic on the East Coast of the United States beginning in the spring of 2017, and I know that that's going to happen. We're getting that level of traction around it. You know, when we have conversations with leaders like you, people who are successful in practice and successful in life, it seems easy. You know, we have this conversation, and you know, we've both had a great roadway, if you like, that we've walked on this chiropractic road, and it sounds easy to people. But I think that most then look at us and say, "Oh yeah, well, you guys were able to do it, and you know, you never faced any roadblocks." And I know if I look at my life, there have been plenty of roadblocks. So my suspicion is going to be that in your life, you've probably had roadblocks at some point. And when you did, share with the audience, how did you deal with it? How did you deal with an individual roadblock or a roadblock that maybe lasted for weeks or months?
I think, and everybody, no matter what they tell you, hits roadblocks. Everybody has self-doubt. Everyone goes ahead and says, why me, Lord? You know, one more thing. But I think it's like, if you land on your back and you're looking up, you can get up. I think it's easier when you're around a network of people and friends, mentors that are out there that say, get off your ass. What are you whining about? Stop the pity party. They will, if they're honest enough with you, your mentors and friends, they'll tell you they've been in the same boat. And it's a matter of just perseverance. It's a matter of just getting up in the morning and saying, this is going to be a good day, and believe that it's going to be a good day, and that you're going to go ahead and change your life and change the world. And it's okay to have, I think happy people realize that there's going to be challenges in life, and the challenges are okay. But what you do when you hit the challenge determines who you are as a person and what your destiny is going to be. When you hit that challenge, it's not reacting to the challenge. It's how you're going to act and how you're going to overcome the challenge. And we all hit it in our personal, in our professional life, and that's life. But now, if I have friends that I can get on the phone and say, hey, I got this problem going on, whether it be in practice or mentally, physically, or spiritually, it's a piece of cake. And I invite everybody to find mentors that will go ahead and help them mentally, physically, and spiritually. I've got financial advisors that are not people I pay, but that are friends, people that I know, hey, they've got $1 million practices. How do I want to have $1 million practice? I hang around the guy with $1 million practice. How do I want to see over 100 patients a week? I hang around the doctors that are seeing over 100 patients a week. How do I go ahead and have a smile on my face in the morning? Hang around the people that have the smiles on the face in the morning. How do I go ahead and have more financial freedom? How do I go ahead and travel more? I love, my addiction is travel and food. So it's like, so I hang around the people with the travel and food addictions. And they teach you how to do that. People that are passionate about what they do open their arms and their hearts and their homes to you because they see that you have that passion too.
So what I hear you saying is build a network, right? Start with one and build a network.
And what a perfect place to do that at Life Vision.
I agree, because there's going to be a lot of like-minded people around us. And one thing that I think you might suggest is that individuals be willing to reach out. Now, some young chiropractors and some older chiropractors may show up at an event and they see themselves as somewhat of an introvert, someone that's a little bit more shy. They'll look at Kevin and Jill and say, well, yeah, but you guys can make it happen because you're not shy. I was very shy when I was young, and I overcame that shyness. And I'm wondering, how did you start building this network that you now have? If you think back to either first year in practice or early years in chiropractic school, where did you start building your network, and how did you start building that network of people that then became a supporting system for you?
I think it was going to programs like Life Vision. That's the bottom line. And I just showed up. I was not a very gregarious person either, growing up. It was like, it's easier for me to go ahead and be a wallflower, sit in the corner and just hang out. But again, when that passion's ignited within you, when you want to go ahead and change the world or change a particular situation, you find out how to band with a bunch of people that have that same passion. It's just one at a time. You might have somebody in your neighborhood right now that you talk to every once in a while as a chiropractor or a friend, and you say, you just go to dinner and you just complain about this, that, or the other thing, or maybe you mastermind. Well, those are the people you go ahead and you start with, but it's not so much your peer. It's you guys got to come together at this program and go to the person that you say, wow, that person really seems to have it together. That person's really making it. This is the person I want to listen to, and be part of that. You just have to show up. I mean, it's that simple. It's just showing up. It's showing up at these programs, and then all of a sudden things will click. I mean, there were some speakers that I would listen to again and again, and I'd just sort of like glaze over. But when it's right in your life, all of a sudden it's a spark that goes off, and you say, wow, he's talking to me. She's talking to me. She's telling me to do that. He's telling me this is what I got to do. And instead of fighting it, you just got to do it. Just do it. I remember a mentor of mine, I went ahead and he said, call anytime. So I went ahead and I called him, and he says, all right, I want you to do A, B, and C. So I go ahead and I call him again, and he says, did you do A, B, and C? And I says, well, I didn't have time, and he hung up the phone. So I called him back, and he says, when you do A, B, and C, then go ahead and call me. Because that's the only way I know how to do it. It's the same thing with the mentors that you're picking. Tony Robbins talks about mirroring people. Well, mirror that mentor that you love. And I mean, it's like the reason I stood on the shoulders of giants, the reason I have that success I have is because I have literally stood on the shoulders of giants. If I wanted to learn Thompson technique, man, I learned from Clay Thompson. If I wanted to go ahead and learn to be a good speaker, I learned from Ian Garrison. If I wanted, a vision, I learned from a Chuck Ribley. That's what you have to do, is just pick the contemporary mentor of your day and learn from them. And if you do that, it's like, it doesn't have to be hard. People make life hard. It doesn't have to be hard. And we can change the profession one at a time. It's like, never in my wildest dreams did I think that I would go ahead. When I graduated, I went ahead and I sat at graduation, and I went to Palmer. And I sat there and I said, wow, look at those guys in the robes and everything else. They seem pretty important. They seem like they've done it. And they introduced them, and I don't remember what the accolades were for those people. But I said, one day, I think that'd be neat to do. Well, you got to be careful what you visualize, because now, 33 years later, I'm chairman of the board of trustees, and I sit on the stage at graduation. You know, as Eric Plaster says, that's way cool. I mean, that is really, really cool. But that isn't just, all right, one day I decided to do it. That is life's work of giving, loving, doing, and then eventually I receive back. And that allows me to go ahead and carry on my vision with other people of like minds. And I think, you know, I mean, like I said, I went to Palmer, you know, but I support Life and Life University because they truly have the vision. They have the vision of what chiropractic is. And going to a program like Life Vision is to see the vision of not only what the university is, but what the whole profession can be. It's not where we're at, it's where we can be.
Where we can be for sure. You know, I mean, I heard you say it a few times, and just a reminder to everyone that it starts, as you mentioned so well a couple of times, it starts by showing up. So you chose to show up. Another question, because you talked about mentors, and a lot of people have this fear factor. You know, you talked about seeing speakers or seeing people standing on a stage or sitting on a stage and wondering, oh my gosh, these people look like they're so important. What's been your experience on approaching anyone that you've ever chosen to approach? Have they been receiving? Because certainly my experience has been anyone I've ever asked has been very receiving. I've asked for help countless different individuals over the years, and I've never really had anybody reject me. And there's this fear in a lot of young docs that they're going to be rejected. So instead of even attempting to meet someone or to ask a question, they just sort of sit back and are trying to, or seeing if they can wait for something big to happen, but they're not making anything happen. So what's been your experience on reaching out and asking for assistance to anybody at whatever level in the profession?
If they're genuine, if they have a passion for what they do, they give out of that abundance. They really have a life principle, even though they might not be life doctors, but they always, I've never, ever had somebody say from a platform not willing to give of their time or their talent to you. And if you're sincere, you know, if you're the guy that's going to go ahead and ask the same question again and again and again each time, what are they going to do? You're going to hang up the phone until you do what they tell you to do. But they are always so approachable. And I think part of any seminar I always go to is staying at the hotel or the venue and staying after, getting a hold of these people when they're in the hallways, getting a hold of these people when they're in the bar, going ahead and being and just hanging out. Yeah, I remember a story when I was a fledgling chiropractor. I went ahead and I hung out. I liked Sigafus and his passion and his energy and what he was doing. And I liked the story because he had his hardships early on and how, you know, he had the unfortunate demise of his child because he wasn't set within himself. But I just said, that's a guy I want to get to know a little bit. So I just hanging out in the halls, and he said, we're all going out to dinner. And somebody says, why did you go? And he said, I wasn't invited. And he says, well, he said, everybody. So I said, okay. So he's out there at dinner, and there's 20 of us, and he's ranting and raving, he's talking during dinner, and we're all eating, and he looks at me, and he says, who the hell are you? And I said, I'm Kevin Fogarty. Just, oh, okay. And he goes on, and he goes, and we, you know, I mean, he knew my name from there on out. You know, a story with Jerry Plum, you know, president of Life West at the time. You know, there's something about Jerry. He's probably one of the smartest individuals that I've ever met in my life. When he speaks, I just sort of like get drawn in because he's just, I just adore Jerry Plum. I wanted to get to know him. So every time I would see him in the hall or whatever at the Waverly Hotel, I'd introduce myself. Well, after 2 years of introducing myself, and he meets so many people, of course, he just didn't get my name. But he would always sit and talk. So one Christmas, I went ahead and I had one of these little puppets where you pull the string and the arms go up and down and everything else. So I put a picture of my face and I put it on the puppet. And I went ahead and sent it to him as a Christmas gift, and he never forgot my name. He loved it. I mean, it's like, and he's got that little puppet to this day, you know. And he says, "Oh, I get to pull your strings from now on, Kevin." So it's people like that you want to go ahead and just hang around, because that's how you get involved. You wind up going to dinner. You find out that they're real people, and they're changing the world, and you find out that you want to change, or they find out that you want to change the world too. And it's like it's a connection.
And chances are they call you in, and then they ask you for help, right?
It's synergistic. It is. It's everybody together working together for a greater purpose in life.
So we've got a few minutes left on this 30-minute interview that we had scheduled, and I think I'd like to close it by asking you to share your best advice if people are interested in really discovering and expressing their life vision, recognizing and knowing their truth. What would be the best advice you could give them on how to get started? Where do they get started? I mean, I know I got a text this morning at 4 o'clock from a young chiropractor and said, I'm having trouble in practice. I need your help. When can we talk? But it takes someone with a little bit of guts to reach out and ask. So what would be your best advice to give to someone who really wants to discover and live their professional and personal life vision?
Find that mentor. Find those individuals. Seek them out and start hanging around them. I think that's it. Ask for help. It's okay to ask for help. I mean, we all want something more, whether you want, you want the financial independence, whether you want a large practice, whether you want just more, fulfillment of what you do as a chiropractor, just ask. And I think what we're going to see at Life Vision is a bunch of people that have that ability to share with you. And if you really want to learn, pick up the phone, get on the web, go ahead and just show up. Just show up at the program. And and you know what? It's never a good time. It's never, there's always other financial commitments you could go with. There's always an excuse. An excuse is an excuse. But you got to get maybe pissed off at yourself enough to say, that's it. I'm tired of being pissed off. Let's go ahead and do something about it. And if you do something about it, you're not going to be sorry. And come up to me. Come up to Gilles Lamarche. Go up to the other people and talk and hang out. We just want to build that tribe of people that have the same vision, that want to hang out. And if you want to hang out, you can learn from us. You don't have to say 2 words. Just hang out.
And I thank you for your wisdom, because if we look at the quality of wisdom, usually the best wisdom that's shared are simple steps. And you shared some very, very simple steps that are doable by anyone and everyone who'd want to do it. So ladies and gentlemen, you heard it on the Life Vision Project from Dr. Kevin Fogarty. Just show up. And when you do, the magic is going to happen, right?
I want to thank you, Gilles, for having me. And you do make a difference in my life. And all those that are watching this, you do make a difference. You do make a difference. And let's all make a difference together.
Thank you, Dr. Kevin. Have an awesome day. Thanks for taking time out of your day to share your wisdom on the Life Vision Project.